All right. Well, good morning, and welcome back. Y'all, I told you we're going to be doing this every Monday, giving you an opportunity to hear from those that are behind prison walls in the state of Texas, part of the Free Texas campaign. Today, you're chatting with the queen. Of course, I am the queen of collaboration, known across all of these social media platforms. Today, y'all, I have Mr. Andrew Lee Beard in the house with me, y'all, and this one is special. But I'm gonna allow him to introduce himself, and then we're gonna jump into some conversation. If you would, for those that have not had the chance to hear you, if you would just briefly introduce yourself.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Andrew Lee Beard. I've been incarcerated for about 19 years. This October will make 20 years. Uh, I've been a Christian since 2012, and I'm going to talk to you guys today about expectation and rehabilitation. I like to give definitions every time I talk to people. That way they know exactly what I'm saying, so it's no misunderstanding. I was taught to be precise in my speech. So when we talk about expectation, the actual definition of it is the anticipation of what could or would happen. It is to look forward to an occurrence. See, we all have these expectations in our lives. When you work at a job, you expect paychecks for work that you have put in. At that same job, sometimes you expect a vacation if they have that. You expect holidays and festivals. You expect to see change. Day to day, sunrise to sunset, we have all these expectations. Right now in America, everybody pretty much expect clean water to be something that's very common. If you're hungry, you expect something to eat, or expect a place where you can go get something to eat, or at least make something to eat. We expect the necessities out of life. In the fall time, like right now, children, they're going to school and they have all these expectations of what school could be, all the potentiality and promises of what they can accomplish in school or what they can become. When they have this new boss, you expect them to be fair. You expect them to be able to control their company or business or sector however they can. You expect those new jobs that you get to pay. The things, you like things to humans, you like things to move as they're supposed to be. We expect them. Sometimes, if things don't go how we want them to, we get upset. We get disoriented. Our lives are full of so many expectations. It's part of the human condition. All our hopes and dreams, those things that we expect to become a reality. All of those want to become an actual reality. But sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes we don't know the cost of our hopes and dreams. Sometimes life isn't what we expect it to be. Sometimes we fail to see the outcomes of our choices. Sometimes we fail to see the consequences of our choices, repercussions or ramifications. I like that word, ramification. When you look at ramifications in the dictionary, it says branching out or growth, outgrowth. What's so crazy about that is we have the consequences, we have the repercussions. After that, later down the line, we have the ramifications. Sometimes we don't know what the expectations of others are in our lives. Sometimes we put a lot of things on other people. We expect them to be a certain way. That's just what we feel should be appropriate for them. With expectations comes a responsibility. That's on both parties. Parents have a lot of responsibilities when you look at them. Love, nurture, and protect their child. This is what's expected of them. A father's supposed to be able to provide for his family as well as take care of them, nurture. This is what's expected in our society. In our society, if you don't take care of your children, we actually have people that can step in to actually help you take care of your children. Parents have a lot of expectations for their children. And sometimes they don't properly voice these expectations. But still, there's a responsibility. When you have a wedding between a man and a woman or whatever, husband and wife, they say their vows. And these vows are a type of expectations of each other, what they want to do, what they are looking for. This is communication. It's a responsibility. You have to communicate what you got these expectations. These expectations have their own types of responsibilities. All of our relationships, if you pay attention to the back and forth of it, the give and take, there's expectations to it. The Christians like to say, as iron sharpens iron. That means that we like to teach each other. We like to teach each other and edify each other. And by teaching each other and edifying each other, we get to do a blessing to be a blessing. We get to give something in return. And it's expected of us. I'm not going to preach the Bible. I always say that. But when you go into Deuteronomy, there's a specific list of blessings. A specific list. If you follow these specific list of blessings for the Old Testament, you're supposed to achieve heaven. You're supposed to be able to go to the heavenly kingdom. There's also a corresponding list of curses in there. And if you don't follow those blessings properly, then you go the opposite way. Rewards and punishment. If you do good, or if you produce something good, you're supposed to get a reward. And if you do bad, well, you're supposed to get a punishment, a correction. Which is the reaping and sowing, or sowing and reaping. I love saying that back and forth because, you reap what you sow. The energy that you put out, it comes back to you. And then what do people do with that energy? Well, usually what they do with that energy is they put it back out into the world again through a cycle. Economically speaking, everybody wants that profit. They want wealth, success. These are the good things that have to do with business. But if you don't do good business, or if the economy is bad, you have a lot of bankruptcies, foreclosures, debt. Politically speaking, if you're doing well politically, they say that you're politically savvy. They say that your constituents, the people who support you, well, they're definitely going to support you. You get clout. You get this word. People trust your word and trust what you're going to say. Whatever form you put up, they're going to trust it because you're you, because you have political clout. But then on the bad side of that, you have what's called a political imbroglio. That's where you get confused or misunderstood or have some type of embarrassment. We see that all the time in politicians on the news. Moving on, when we talk about morals, well, if you're morally sound, they say sound. Sound as in you're reasonable. Something's correct about you. When you have correct morals, you're seen as you're seen as you're just, you're fair, you're polite, you're correct. But if you're not, they say that you're immoral, degenerate, you're untrustworthy. I can keep going on and on with these contrasting theories or whatever. Talked about expectations, but the main one I want to talk about is society. See, in society, when you're correct, you become popular. You become the one that's trending. You get to add to the cohesiveness, harmony of society. You get to do all the productivity in overall fashion. Everybody knows that you're okay. But in society, if you're not good, if something's wrong, you become what's called a social pariah. You get to be someone that's shunned, ostracized, an outcast, or a criminal. See, expectations are everywhere. I gave you a lot of contrasting theories just to show you what's expected of a person and the outcome of that expectation. In our society right now, if you break the law, you're supposed to be punished by the proper authorities. That usually leads to jail, some type of court, some type of class, or, well, prison. If you follow the law to the T, you don't have to worry about this. Most people don't worry about the cops coming behind them or anything like that because they're doing what's correct. Me, I've got a 43-year sentence for the crime of murder. I'm not bragging or boasting about it, not at all. Honestly, so I've committed some wrongs. I know I've hurt some people, and I can personally put forth positive actions now in my life. I know ever since I've given my life to Christ that I'm trying to do something right, trying to do something better. I personally had to re-educate myself on how I do things, or how I do life. Right here, rehabilitation, which is the second part of what I was talking about. Again, I got to give you the definition because people they have an understanding of what rehabilitation is, not a deep understanding. You have rehabilitation, that means reinstate to a former capacity. It means to restore to a good standing, to restore same, we still reestablish former stance. It's made to return to good health. For me, myself, personally, there was no returning to a good stance. I never was in a good stance. There was no capacity to restore because, well, what I had wasn't good at all. So I had to dig deep. I had to really re-educate myself. Expectation. In Texas, this is where I reside at prison. Tdcj, also known as the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. And the thing that they do is provide the misdemeanors to reinstate, to provide public safety, promise positive changes in offenders' behavior, to reinstate offenders into society, and to assist victims of crime. When you break that down, to provide public safety, well, I am a criminal. I have committed a crime, and they took me outside, away from that crime, away from society, to promote positive changes in offenders' behavior. Well, we're doing that right now, and I'm going to explain that a little bit more. It says to reinstate offenders into society and assist victims of crime. How can we assist the victims of crime? I'm going to tell you a little bit about that too. But the main thing, it says to reinstate offenders into society. This is Tdcj's expectation of what they want from them. Now, when you look a little closer, TDC has they have a lot of helpful classes. They've got anger management. They've got Narcotics Anonymous. We have a graft program, which is for gang members that want to get out of the gang life, disassociate themselves with the gang life. They have another class called Bridges to Life. They have another one called Piano Workshop. Another one called The Journeyman. TDC has a lot of classes, man. They got some that can help you find out your religious identity or spiritual identity. And to be honest, that works for some of us. People that have their own drives to want to do better and be better. But for others, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't cut it. There's something lacking. The best class that they offer in here, well, they're actually about volunteers or ex-offenders or offenders right now. I got a few counterparts. They're on these talk shows. They're on this platform with me. One's named Arnulfo Ayala. The other one's Armando Pereira. And you might have heard some of them. You might have heard them on this podcast. But we're very much invested in trying to make campus culture of prison positive. We're trying to bring out a positive change in prison. Need a lot of help, guys. With Tdcj, they got this education, right? They've got college courses. They've got vocation. They got the GED program. But to be honest, the waiting list is so long. Personally, if I still waited on the waiting list, I never would have attended my own colleges. But I had to outsource myself. I had to find a different way just to try to educate my own self. Not only that, the curriculum they have is obsolete. Some of the computer technology courses, well, I mean, in 2000 it worked, but now computer technology changes every 6 months. A lot of the programs that they do have, a lot of the vocations that they have, we can't really use it because of our criminal history once we do get out. Another thing that's a little bit of a hindrance is access to actual information, research information. The expectation of Tdcj is to rehabilitate its offenders, but it's so hard to do it. It's like it's meager offering. You ever pay attention to recidivism ratio? Recidivism is when a person gets out of jail and comes right back. It's such a high percentage of it. I don't know the exact percentage, but it's such a high percentage. I see people come back and forth. I mean, for 20 years, almost 20 years I've been here, and I see people come right back. They just haven't learned something. It seems like there's something missing. And then when they do come back and leave again and then come back again, they usually do it until they get a life sentence. Something missing. You know, the sex offenders actually don't have any classes for themselves. There's no class to help them cope with what they've done or change their mind state. There's no actual rehab for them. It's just take a person away from that. But these people that are injured, they still dwell on that with thoughts. There's nothing else that can actually assist us in trying trying to better ourselves or get out of that thought process, change the thought process. When you look at the word rehab, it means you're supposed to re-enter. You're supposed to get healthier. You're supposed to get better. Now, Tdcj says that they want to reintegrate us back into society. And it says to assist victims of crime. You assist a victim of crime, you have to help them. You have to. We're leading back out of this place with no manner, no financial literacy, no consumer resource management, no teamwork skills, no emotional literacy of ourselves or others. So that recidivism rate, we're really not helping any victims of crime. We're adding to it. We're making new victims of crime because people haven't come out with a proper thought process. You know, in prison, we don't have counselors. We don't have people to actually talk to that know what they're talking about to help us diagnose ourselves, or there's no psychologist. There's no one here to help us with our mental deficiency. There's a lot of people in here with OCD, PTSD, manic depression, schizophrenia. A lot of people in here are actually delusional, and we're going back out to society. TCJ's expectation says they want to assist victims of crime. You assist them by giving them proper rehabilitation. You see, when I talked about people not having manners in TDCJ, what was in you? We come back out with the same old. We don't know how to cope with people. Those teamwork skills that we're going to need for those new jobs that we get, they're not there. Prison is a closed off place. You close off mentally, you close off emotionally, you close off physically. You can't go where you want to go. And emotional literacy, oh my gosh. People don't get a chance to express themselves in a proper fashion. When you're angry in here, you're just angry and you're singing. When you're sad in here, you're just sad. No one helps you walk it out, talk it out. When you're happy in here, well, that's momentary until you try to hold on to it or prolong it. But a lot of times people just don't understand what the other person's going through. There's no mental health aid in here. They give you puzzles. They give you a crossword puzzle and just tell you to just buck it up, pal. A lot of obsolete skills coming on from these courses that they give us. If you look at the computer skills course, oh my God, it's irrelevant to even have the degree for it, because when you get out right now, you see, when you have these expectations of people, they can't be meager. Yes, I did my crime. And I'm not bragging about it. Yes, I did my crime. But I made a decision to try to be better and do better. I need as much support as I can in this place. TDCJ put forth just a little bit. They put forth what they could. We know that they have an expectation of us having a rehabilitation. What does society want from us? Everyone talks about all these programs and everything, but nobody's having actual dialogue about it. Let's fix this problem. What if you start cultivating some answers? What if you start having a dialogue and a platform to actually do so? Personally, I think that we have some type of financial literacy class, some type of consumer resource management class, some type of counselor or some mental health officials or aid that can help us out. Better college curriculums or actual college curriculum. Accessibility to actual scholastic knowledge. Some type of manner class to help us cope. Teamwork effort, team building effort, and emotional literacy. I think it'd be a little bit better. I always hear people say that let's just write them off, let them rot in jail. I've never seen anybody in prison rot. In fact, at my age, I'm almost 40. I still look like I'm 20. No one in prison rots. All we do, we're away from all the tobacco, all the pollution of the world. We're away from all that. We have no choice but to try to be healthy. Here we come out, and we still have the same mind state. Right back in society. Right like recidivism again. You know, that's what cancer is, right? You're putting something that's not healthy into your body. How's that not going to affect society? I think there's a Bible conversion that can go on. You know, Saul to Paul. See, Saul was a murderer. He chased after Christians. He murdered Christians. And then he saw the truth of Jesus Christ. And he converted over. He became Paul. He became one of the persons in the Bible that so many things about love. What if we were to utilize? What if we were to cultivate people that are in here? Those things I mentioned, all the financial literacy and the the emotional literacy classes, all these things I'm talking about, they're not a difficulty. As a matter of fact, they are a difficulty, but they're not an impossibility. They can happen. Some guy told me, and he was a friend of the family, and he said, you guys really don't change. And I looked at him and I said, you don't know what you're talking about. Everybody in here changes. You can change for the good or change for the worse. And he says, well, son, you can't stop water from being wet. And so I'm looking at him, and he's looking at me because he offended me. I didn't get mad. I just said, well, sir, you actually can change water from being wet. If you heat it up, it evaporates. Goes back into the same cycle, the precipitation cycle. I said, then you can freeze it up, sir.
Thank you.
It becomes hard as ice block. That's H2O. That's the human element. Humans, we can change. We can be anything we want to be. All we have to do is have the right temperature or the right focus. You know, in business, when you have some item, a product that is not correct, that has a default or is defective, what they do is they tell you about it. They tell you about it on the news all the time. Hey, we're calling this item right here because it causes these things. And then they might come out with a new item. They might revise it. They might do something to it. But it's not the same thing. I'm not the person that I was, and I'm far from the person where I want to be. I've had to do rehabilitation by myself with my friends in here. We've had to come together to try to formulate something that could stop people, prevent people from going down the paths that we went down. We're trying to be better people here. We're going to need some support. We're going to need the society to tell us what they expect of us. I thank you very much.
So, your plea to those that are listening today for change within the judicial system, could you please share what your plea would be today? If someone is tuning in and have the power and the morals to want to change what's going on, what would your plea be to them on today?
Well, you know, there's so many platforms now that are open to us. We have this TEXANS program. With it, some of my counterparts, we have different little programs in here, and these programs are, they develop actual intellect on self, actual intellect on the crime, actual intellect on society. I was asked a long time ago, why? Why am I in prison? And when I was asked this question, they said, ask yourself why. Be truthful with self. You don't have to put the actual answers out to the public, but be truthful with self. Answer this question, say why. And so he says, when you must ask yourself why 7 times. And within those 7 times, if you're truthful with self, you'll get the exact answer of why you behave the way you behave. And so in doing so, I found out my problem, it wasn't just myself, it wasn't just my own attitude, it was the things that I was allowing myself to view and witness. It was the things I was allowing myself to try to be a part of. And when you're in this place, you have this choice. You can choose to do bad. You can keep up with the same momentum that you've been having. You know, the same old, landed me in prison. And then it had me doing a whole bunch of things in prison I didn't want to be a part of. But when I made that choice to change, that's when I started actually getting rehabilitation. That's when I started looking up what morality is. What is religion? What is faith? What is love? What is hope? What are these things that society talks about that are good things? What is good? And once I started figuring that out, I kept educating myself some more. I started linking up with people. You know, when you're doing good, when you're doing righteous work, when you're doing something that's positive, things just seem to line up for you. And so what happened was, a few of my friends in here, people that were on the same pathway of goodness, we started linking up with each other. And when we linked up with each other, we started seeing the flaws in programs that TDCJ offers. One of them is, you know, here's this class for you. This is AA, and hey, nobody drinks. We're not near alcohol, so it's easy for us to not drink. But what's the mentality going on? Are you just giving us cookie cutter answers? And so what we started trying to do is try to put our programs with integrity and accountability. Integrity and accountability is so detrimental to actually trying to change into a better person. A lot of people say, oh, well, they set me up, they did this, no, what did you do? I take accountability for my crimes. This is why I try to put forth positive energy. This is why I try to put forth good works now. They say faith without works is dead, right? You have to put in some type of work towards being better. And what I want to say to everybody is that this is not a lost cause. There are a lot of people that are trying to change, and they have no way to do it. It's like being in a dark room and you see no light. There's a pinprick somewhere. You just have to really look around for it. But when you find that pinprick, if you open up that door, and you can let the light flood in. And a lot of people, sometimes that light is another person.
Wow. Well, you touched on some things on today. But what I want to say to the state of Texas, it sounds like to me that individuals can be rehabilitated, because this does not sound like someone that is not remorseful, because he's remorseful for what he's done. He's accepted responsibility, and he wants a second chance. So for the state of Texas to not to truly believe in rehabilitation and have these things in place so that these individuals can re-enter society, it's sad and it breaks my heart. So if you all are listening, we need to let the government know that rehabilitation can happen, and that there are people that deserve a second chance behind the walls in the TDCJ. So that is my plea for today. Before we leave, Mr. Andrew, I want to congratulate you because you are a part of four of your poems were included in the Cries from Within Our Soul poetry book, which I released on about 3 or 4 days ago. We are currently ranked number 1 in 2 categories: poetry and anthology, inspiration and spiritual. Um, and we are ranked number 13 in personal transformation. Just as he's been talking about transformation, these poems that we have, they are talking about those things. And it can happen and it can take place. So congratulations to you. Thank you for allowing me to share your work with the world. And I just want to encourage you to stay on this journey that you're on. You are amazing, and I thank you for the opportunity to share you. So that's my spiel for today. Anything you want to say in that last minute?
Um, I think I've said everything, ma'am. I just want to thank you guys for listening to us and giving us the opportunity to speak positively and speak about truth. There's a change going on, and man, God is good.
Amen. Amen. Well, thank you for once again stopping by. And I look forward to these Mondays to share with you guys. So you have a great week and keep being an inspiration for those that are behind the walls.
I sure will. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Please share this in your circle of influence. I know that there has been something shared on this broadcast today that could be an inspiration to those that are free and those that are incarcerated. So if you would, please share this in your circle. Y'all, we will be right back.